At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
The KIDZ BOP Kids are back in 2025 with their all-new KIDZ BOP Live Certified BOP Tour, coming to a city near you this summer. Sing and dance along to today's biggest bops live on the big stage. It is the ultimate pop concert experience for kids and parents. Speaking of which, the popular Daddy Dance-Off is returning as well. Have I got your attention? I hope so, because we're giving away a family 4-pack to the BOP Tour when it hits Anaheim on September 20th. Joining me to give us a preview are KIDZ BOP members Maddie and Aaliyah. Nice to meet you both. How are you this evening?
We are great. How are you?
Oh, look, I've been waiting for this. I love the whole KIDZ BOP experience. Maddie, let me start with you. You're from New Jersey, so the entertainment business was farther away for you than most. What made you want to perform, sing, dance? What inspired you?
Well, always when I was younger, I've always been a dancer my whole life. But honestly, like seeing videos of Tour and KIDZ BOP, it's always inspired me, like seeing videos online. And I've always loved performing on stage for dance. So that's always been my thing. So I just love doing it. And now I did my first show in Wembley in London, and it was the coolest thing ever. So I'm super excited for Tour.
Well, I know the Wembley experience was something special. If I have this correctly, you set a Guinness World Record for the youngest performers to perform a sold out Wembley. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That is pretty amazing. Aaliyah, you're a California kid, so the journey to the entertainment business may not have been as long, but when did you know this was what you wanted to do?
I knew that this is what I wanted to do when I booked my first job at the age of 6. And I told my mom, I was playing piano, and I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to do piano anymore. I just want to dance. So once I made that decision, I just kept going with it, and now I'm here, and I'm just so excited for this new journey.
Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems KIDZ BOP is a lot of work, a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of recording and touring. How do you find time for yourself? And when you do, how do you spend it?
Well, we always have some free time, but everything we do is always so much fun. Like all the singing and the dancing, I enjoy it so much. But when I have free time, I'm a very outside kid. So I love being outside, playing sports, and I'm always very active. But I always put most of my time into dance and singing because that's just what I love to do.
Aaliyah, you said you booked your first gig at 6 years old. That was a humble brag. I heard that. You just said, yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm a veteran. But even though you might have been in this business for a long time, you're human like the rest of us. Do you find yourself, maybe when you're on stage at Wembley or somewhere else, kind of nervous?
Sometimes I can be nervous, but having my best friends around me just really calm me down. And I think just the energy of the fans, just putting on a show for them just makes me really happy, and the nerves just kind of naturally go away. So, yeah.
Maddie, tell me about this Daddy Dance-Off. Are you just laughing at the old folks like me? Tell the truth.
No, I mean, the Daddy Dance-Off might be my favorite part of the show. It's so cool. We get to bring 4 dads up on stage, and they get to dance, and then there's a little battle, so it's so cool, and all the fans love it. It always gets the fans up on their feet, excited, and they get to vote. So it's really interactive with the crowd, and it's so much fun to see the dads come up on stage and do their moves.
Aaliyah, take me into that performance even more so. What should kids and parents alike expect to see?
I think they should expect to see new choreography, new songs. Again, the Daddy Dance-Off is, I think, the best part of the show. A lot of singing and dancing, and I think they should just expect to have the best night of their lives.
Maddie, Aaliyah talked about choreography, new choreography. There are a lot of songs. There's a lot of choreography that you have to learn and to perfect. Tell me about that process. How do you go about practicing individually, as a group? How does it all come together?
Well, we actually have 2 months before we go on tour in LA where we're all there as a group and we practice and we learn choreo. And as a group, we all love it. It's so much fun for all of us to be there and train and learn all the choreography and sing too. So it's just an amazing experience. And it's really nice to just all be together and go through this whole process together.
Aaliyah, something that I've noticed and something that you commented on is like being on stage with your best friends, and that type of camaraderie, that type of energy is not easy to come by. You're not necessarily going to like all the people that you work with, and you're going to be working with them for months on hand. Why is it you think that you guys and gals get along so well?
When I met all of them, we just clicked. And I think our 4 different personalities just really mend well together. And our love and passion for what we do all align. And I think we just want to have a great time. And I just love, even the people behind KIDZ BOP are just great people, such a great company. And I'm just so grateful that these people are the people I'm working with.
All right. This next question is for both of you because the question may be answered differently. You're getting ready to kick off the North American portion of the tour for the summer, and you'll be performing just about every day. Are there any places or any specific cities that you're looking forward to visiting?
Well, for me, it's definitely New Jersey because the shows we're doing in New Jersey, all my family, all my friends are going to come. It'll be so exciting, like looking into the crowd and seeing all my family and friends. But I'm excited for every city just to be able to perform and meet all the new KIDZ BOP fans and make everyone happy.
Leah?
I'm excited for Anaheim because it's my hometown, the Honda Center. I am super, super duper excited. All my friends and family will be there. And yeah, it's my hometown, so we're going to bring it like we always do.
Okay, what's that like then, Leah? Let me stay right there. You're in front of your friends and family. Does that make it a little more difficult? Because you have people who are coming there just to see you. It would seem to me that it might be a little more pressure.
I'm not sure if it's like more pressure. It can be more nerve-wracking, but their support for me is just out of this world. And it just makes me happy that they're there supporting me because they could just stay at home, but they decided to come and see me. And it just makes me even more excited and happy to perform.
Well, this is the best part. And I'm glad that you mentioned, Leah, that you're from Anaheim. And we're going to be giving away a family 4-pack to someone to be able to come see both of you and the rest of the KIDZ BOP members in Anaheim on September 20th. This is what I need from you to help close out this conversation. I need you to agree upon a number between 1 and 10.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
10.
10.
Caller number 10, give us a call at 800-520-1KFI, 800-520-1534. If you're caller number 10, you and 3 of your friends or family members will be going to see KIDZ BOP live at the Honda Center in Anaheim. 800-520-1KFI, 800-520-1534, caller number 10. And I would like to thank my guests, Maddie and Aaliyah. The KIDZ BOP kids are back in 2025 with their all-new KIDZ BOP Live Certified BOP Tour coming to Anaheim on September 20th and touring all of North America throughout the summer. Maddie and Leah, thank you for coming on this evening. Thank you for a wonderful conversation. I wish you a great tour.
Make sure to get your tickets at kidzbop.com. Thank you so much.
What a consummate pro. Nice of you to throw that in there. When we come back, we'll have an update on Alta in the wake of the fires and more.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I am a baseball fan. I know many of you are baseball fans. Many of you have been baseball fans for much of your life. Maybe you were a former little leaguer. Maybe someone in your family is presently a little leaguer. This next story might warm your heart. I think it will. Altadena's Loma Alta Park is reopening in May. And this is after, of course, the devastating Eaton fire. But they're reopening because of new resources and support from the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation, the Los Angeles Clippers, and we talked about this a lot here on KFI, the Fire Aid Benefit Concert. The park is going to get 2 new Dodgers Dream Fields from the foundation so the Central Altadena Little League can play their last games at home. Obviously, the league has been displaced. The good news is the league is still going on, but unfortunately could not play where they customarily do play. The Community Clippers Court program is going to give the gym and basketball courts a makeover, and a $2.4 million fire aid grant will rebuild and expand the playgrounds. That makes me feel good.
It makes me feel beyond good. This is the park that me and my brother and all of my friends would go to when we were kids. This is the park that had the big swimming pool. It was great just walking up, Fair Oaks and heading over to Loma Alta. This is not only a park that I grew up at, it is a park that my niece, she goes there all the time now. She's just hanging out with her friends. This is like where they go to hang. Their tennis classes, they used to be there, basketball, everything. It was a safe zone. It was actually one of the safe zones because growing up, it was right around the corner from a very notorious Crip gang hangout, Altadena Block Crip. Right up the street from them was this park, and very rarely would they mess with any of the kids going to the park because it was like, that's the park, that's the hangout. These are little kids. That's hands off. Stay away from that. Love this park. My mother, she was part of the co-op, the gardening co-op that was there at Loma Alta, where everyone would come and just growing whatever and sharing the vegetables. This is where the Altadena Farmers Market was. Like this park means so much to the city of Altadena. So for the Dodgers and the Clippers and Fire Aid to come through to help rebuild this staple, this central focal point of this is, I love this. Everything about this.
Does this matter? I should say, does this move the needle in helping convince people who might have lost their homes, who might have lost everything, to come back and rebuild?
I believe it does. I believe moves like this, where you have not just this organization, but we know about Magic Johnson, what he is trying to do for the city of Altadena as well, and so many others who are looking to pour into Altadena. This makes it easier for people to see a future for the city, because when you drive through it, it is still heartbreaking. It will bring literal tears to your eyes when you drive around. You see just that sheer devastation, knowing something like this is happening and not far off in the future. This is May. They're talking about relaunching this park and beautifying it and making this happen. This fills my heart with joy.
When was the last time you drove through Altadena?
Last Saturday.
Where are they with the debris removal?
Right now, everyone, at least on my block in their yard, everyone has a toxic chemical removal stamp or sign in the yard saying that has been cleaned up. Right now, just up the street, 2 or 3 blocks up from the street where I grew up on, there are bunches of trucks and looks like digging tools and all types of equipment that's up there, kind of like a staging ground, like they're ready to move in and start to come clean up. There are several people that I know who have personally gotten their own cleanup teams to come in and remove debris. The house literally I grew up on, I drove by there and was showing my daughter, and it's just a hole in the ground now. And the people who bought the house for my mother after we moved, they said, we got our own crew. They dug it out. It's just now a hole there now so that they can start the process of rebuilding. A good friend of mine, E-Dub, Eric, what's up, man? He is already in the process of rebuilding his house. He has already gotten the floor plans, and he's like, we can go forward with this. There's so much movement, and I think a fire has been lit under so many people. Like the Altadena Strong sentiment is not just words, with so many people that are fighting to keep a hold of their property and their land. It is an actual thing that's happening.
I know that we've seen some of the stories. We talked about some of the stories where not only were some residents suing power company possibly for their involvement. Where is that, to the best of your knowledge, and what is FEMA still doing or not doing anymore?
The FEMA deadline for filing and even the center that is in Altadena, the FEMA deadline, I believe that is the 30th
of this month.
Yes, I believe the 30th or the 31st, or maybe it's Monday the 31st, is the last day for filing with FEMA for getting any help. Because after that, they're like, hey, we've already extended this deadline. We're trying to give everyone as much help as possible. I have been over there, and they are going through every nook and cranny to help people figure it out. So they're not just over there stonewalling individuals. If you go over to the help center on Woodbury, there's a lot of resources there, a lot of help for everything you could imagine. Every question you could imagine can get answered there. You do have to have a healthy dose of patience. These are people who are working to help you. What they don't need also is attitude and things like that. We cannot be mad at the people trying to help us.
How would you characterize the federal government's response, the state level response, the local response? Because we know we talked to a number of LA County supervisors here on the show. Obviously, Lindsay Horvath would be responsible from that. No, not Lindsay Horvath. It would be Catherine Barger. Was responsible for Eaton Canyon in that area, Altadena. How would you rate the government responses on the various levels?
As bureaucratically as possible. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape, a lot of this department says one thing while another department says another. The health department is saying one faction of the health department is saying, no, you cannot return. It is not healthy to live 100, feet within a burn zone, while another saying, well, there may be okay. And the insurance companies are like, everyone go back, just hurry up and go back, because they're tired of keeping people in hotels. And as far as for your question for all the many lawsuits out there, now even the city of Pasadena has also jumped into suing as Southern California Edison. It is just an ongoing process. There is no new news. It is just the constant slow back and forth between the various groups who are doing civil suits, those who are doing direct lawsuits. Now the cities are jumping in and suing, and it's just a long process. I know that the attorneys that I have met with and that several people I know, they're like, look, this is a year, 2 years, 3 years. This is a fight. This isn't, hey, next week you'll be made whole. No, sir. This is a long-term process, and this is something that we will all have to live through.
But part of that long-term process is making sure that it's still at the forefront of people's minds. It's not just because the fire's over, the story's over, and people just move on. No, we have to keep this at the front of people's minds to make sure that people are made whole on that time schedule or timetable that it should happen.
We're talking a year, 2 years, 3 at the most. Everyone, hold on to your butts.
It's later with Mo Kelly. I'm told that there's a blood worm lunar eclipse tonight.
I've been going around trying to see if the skies are getting dark anywhere. It's not happening yet.
It's supposed to happen around 11, or actually it's supposed to be at its brightest at around 11:55 tonight, LA time.
Oh.
So we'll be on the lookout for it. We'll try to explain it to you when we come back. KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And tonight is the blood worm moon. I don't name them. I'm just going to tell you about it. The lunar eclipse. And the full moon will reach its peak illumination at around 11:55 p.m. LA time. And the total lunar eclipse will make the moon appear red tonight into the following day, depending on your time zone, of course. When and where to watch it? The full moon will rise late tonight, and it's going to go through Saturday morning. And this is according to NASA. So you will see the full moon. But as the lunar eclipse begins, the moon will start moving through Earth's shadow at about, and I'm trying to transpose the time from East Coast. It's already started around 8:57 p.m. tonight, so a little over a half hour ago. And the moon will gradually dim, but it won't be really noticeable until 10:09 p.m. during George Norrie's program. He'll probably talk about it, Coast to Coast AM, at around 10:09 p.m. tonight. And the moon will be fully shaded, depending on where you are, obviously, and how much bright light may be in your city, light pollution, from around 11:26 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Friday morning. And the best viewing opportunity for the red moon or the blood moon will happen around midnight our time. So in other words, by the time we get off the air here and Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie takes over, you might as well just saddle up to some good viewing place to watch the blood moon, or as they call it, the blood worm moon. And then you can see all of it. Now, I don't know if you get to see the total lunar eclipse, and I say that only because from what I can see, the best viewing points will be in North and South America along that range. I don't know what it's going to be in California versus Venezuela, but that's going to be up to you. And I wish, I still keep talking about buying a telescope, and I've never gotten around to it, but it's one of my fond memories of going out in the front yard with my dad in a telescope and just looking at all the celestial bodies out there with the limited range of my telescope. But we caught more than a few lunar eclipses together. So if you may have a son or daughter, if you got the opportunity, I'm just telling you, as a kid of someone who had a dad who was proactive and loved all things astronomy, go ahead and take this opportunity. I know it's a little late, but go out in the front yard or the backyard, take out the telescope. The technology is even better now than when I was a kid, and you can get yourself some good photos, as a matter of fact, of the lunar eclipse. And in fact, if you should get a chance to take some, feel free to send them to us at laterwithmokelly@gmail.com, and would love to post them on your behalf. Yeah, that's something I still do want to get back into, and hopefully I'll get home soon enough. Well, I'll get home soon enough, but I don't know, per what Mark Ronner told us earlier tonight, we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow. Don't know when that may begin, and I only say that because if we're getting rain, that means we will have cloud cover, and some of this may be obscured because of the precipitation and the rain, which is coming sometime tomorrow. Don't know when, because according to Mark, some of this is static. It's not static, and it's going to change every single hour. He won't be locked down to exactly when the rain is going to begin.
I will not be scapegoated for your weather insecurity.
No, I'm not. I'm not blaming you. I'm just reiterating what you told us, that the rain may change without notice.
This is how weather works.
If that's the off ramp you want to take, if you want to scapegoat it in that way, you don't want to take any responsibility. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't really like the way you're framing this. But,
what do you mean?
But please proceed. You live your life. It's fine.
And I still haven't found exactly why they're calling it the blood worm moon. Yes, it's red. Let's just call it the blood moon and leave it at that. But it's called the blood worm moon, a phenomenon which makes the moon appear red during a total lunar eclipse. I'm not sure where worm comes in. I have to look that up, but there's no real explanation why it's the blood worm moon. But it's going to be happening tonight. Peak illumination around midnight our time, but you'll be able to start seeing it. The eclipse started to form not long after we get off the air, about 10:09 p.m. I don't want to speak for George Norrie. He's probably listening right now, but I have a feeling he'll probably make reference to it on some level, and is probably far more knowledgeable than I am on it. But yeah, since it's a lunar eclipse, just want to remind you, you don't need any special equipment to observe a lunar eclipse. It's completely safe to look at it with the unaided eye.
You can just stare right into it?
Yes. Unlike a solar eclipse where we're always told not to do it, even though some people, like our president, decided to. You don't have to worry about that. You don't need a shoebox. You don't need to use the refraction off a tree or something. You can look at it directly.
What a huge relief that should be for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully no one will go blind looking at a lunar eclipse late at night. It won't be that bright.
All right.
But I know Samsung phones specifically have great telephoto lenses, and they take exceptional pictures of the moon.
You will never, ever dissuade me from my iPhone love, ever.
No. I didn't say you had to go buy one. I'm just saying, look, I don't even have a Samsung. I'm just giving credit where credit is due, that Samsung has exceptional telephoto lenses, and I've seen pictures on other people's phones of just the moon on any old occasion, and I'm looking forward to what people will take with just their phones, which will show up on social media.
I see. So on the rare occasion that a celestial rarity happens, you want to have the right phone for it.
Well, if you do have a Samsung, you're ready for it. Look, I don't need to have a phone just for an event like this, so I will rely on other people's technology and appreciate the moment with the photos that they post. So I'm not even worried.
Also, you can just watch it on TV.
I know you can, but it's not quite the same. Now, I'm pretty sure at NASA.com, they'll probably have it as well featured.
I don't know if you came to the same conclusion that I did at an early age, but you really don't have to go outdoors for anything. Almost anything that's happening in the natural world, you can find it on television.
You can, but I do believe there's something to be said for viewing it yourself and seeing it with your own eyes instead of, quote unquote, a broadcast or a stream of it, which you can find anywhere. In other words, since it's viewable here in California, at least to some degree, I would rather, or at least in addition to, see it myself and then go check it out online.
Is this just to make sure that it's not some kind of Stanley Kubrick moon landing hoax?
Nope, not at all.
No?
I just like to view it with the unaided eye.
Huh.
That's all. And then, if I really want to see it for real distinct clarity and granularity, then I'll check it out online or check it out on TV, wherever it's happening. And that's the beautiful thing also about the internet. You can find very clear pictures and a live stream of it in any number of places. Because I know for the solar eclipses, I know NASA had a stream on their YouTube page and also their website. So there are any number of places you'll be able to view it.
I'm in.
I am too. Hopefully I'll be able to get out of here before 10:15 and Stefan doesn't give me extra stuff to do or Tuala doesn't nag me about something. Hopefully. No guarantees.
I need you to stay after work and talk about a work issue with me for about roughly 90 minutes.
No. The lunar eclipse is waiting for me. It's calling my name. Mo.
That's your stomach.
KFI AM 640. We'll check in with George Norrie, Coast to Coast AM in just a moment. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Be sure that you're signed up to get the podcast each and every day through the iHeartRadio app or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, YouTube, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. But the iHeartRadio app is the only place that you can listen to this show and Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie live. And speaking of which, is coming up next, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, and he joins me now. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Mr. Kelly. Here I am. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you doing anything on the blood worm moon tonight by chance?
Yes, just a little story on that.
Okay. I figured you would, but I didn't want to speak for you, so I thought I would ask.
The moon is gorgeous. Did you see it tonight?
I have not been able to get outside yet.
You got to peek. It's even before the eclipse. It's gorgeous.
Plan to. Hopefully, there's not a bad cloud cover.
Yeah, it's been clear so far with that wind blowing everything away.
Yeah.
On the show tonight, we're going to talk about how technology will affect human beings, and later on, a walk on the paranormal side.
All right. Cannot wait. Always good to talk to you, George.
Enjoy the moon.
Thank you, sir. And my final thought for the week, I'm going to get financially nerdy. Going to have to dig in deep here, so please bear with me. The stock market has lost 10% of its value since January 20th. That would be Inauguration Day. In financial terms, that's called a correction, and it would be the first since 2023. In the past month, the stock market is down 3,900 points. Depending on what source you use, there are about 150 to 180 million Americans who are actively involved in the stock market. And by that, I mean buying or selling or trading or passively involved. That means the 401ks, 357s, pensions, meaning about half the country is impacted by the fortunes of the stock market. As for the larger economic outlook, we've been told that the Biden economy was an economic disaster. We've heard that time and time again. In fact, some people are still saying that, even though GDP growth was hovering at about 2.8, 2.9% per quarter. That's gross domestic product. And 2.8, 2.9%, that is healthy. Full stop, no exaggeration, Not really debatable. Healthy. Didn't say it was great, but it's healthy. And unemployment is still historically low at 4%. I don't know if you know this, but unemployment at 5%, a whole point higher, is still considered full employment. These are just facts. Well, why does this matter? It matters because, as I said, the talk this week was whether the country might be on the verge of a recession. Meaning, if the economy is not in a recession presently and not near a recession presently, at least as of January this year, that also means the economy is not and was not a disaster. Also, a recession is a very specific economic term. There are parameters because in a recession, principally, we have negative GDP, gross domestic product, for consecutive quarters. That's a necessity, meaning going from the 2.9% that we've seen in the past 2 quarters that I just told you about to negative numbers. It would be a sharp turn. Goldman Sachs, which knows a little bit about money, just a little bit, released a statement this week that the prospect of a recession is about 15 to 20%, but could increase if the Trump administration remains, quote, committed to its policies even in the face of much worse data, close quote. Their words, not mine. And let me translate that. They're saying that a recession very much rests on the shoulders of and the choices made by the Trump administration. It's not inevitable, not necessarily Joe Biden, not anything happening prior to now, but what happens now and going forward. Again, if the economy is not in a recession, and it's not for the reasons I just gave you, then by definition, it's not a disaster and it's not horrible, despite what some people keep trying to tell us, or put it another way, lie to us. But that all could change rather quickly. And I know what some of you are thinking, but Mo, what about the cost of eggs? What about the cost of milk? And I would remind you, that's not the economy. That's one of the 4 major food groups. It's not the same. Each year, there's an issue with a food item due to supply chain issues. Right now, there's also a soybean shortage. Mad cows sent beef prices through the roof in the 1990s. It was oranges in 2022 and 2023. But that's not the economy. But if the actual economy as a whole should go into a recession, that means we have been slowly sliding to economic hell for 6 consecutive months, or 2 quarters leading up to it, going back to the 2 quarters of negative GDP. It takes 6 months just to officially be in a recession with no guarantee of how long it would last after that. But let me go back to the stock market losing 3,900 points in the past month. It's fair, and I try to be fair. It's fair to argue that the stock market could get all of it back in the coming years. It's possible. But it's not likely, and not everybody has those years to wait. Maybe you planned on retiring this year or next, or you will be forced to retire due to age restrictions. If so, you just got kicked in the teeth with your active and passive investments. You won't ever get that back. Maybe you're one of the thousands of veterans who were laid off as the federal employee purge continues. Maybe you are a veteran and disabled and lost not only your job, but your benefits and a good portion of your retirement, all in the last 30 days. You're not getting any of that back if the firings hold. You're just out of the game for good, saying nothing of what life may look like if we do end up going into that recession in the meantime. And that's saying nothing of the possibility of Medicaid and Social Security being cut as well. Here's the larger point that I want to close with. It's all fun and games in trying to call an economy bad or a disaster right up until a real economic disaster shows up and demonstrates the difference. I said some time ago that the markets, our allies and our adversaries will respond and be exceptionally clear on our tariffs, our disregard for our allies, and disregard for our veterans. And now they have responded. And they have responded. So I want to add to what I said then. This is just the beginning. The market slide is not going to stop, hear me, unless the terrorists stop and the talk of annexing Canada and Greenland stop. Why? Because Goldman Sachs, the Wall Street Journal, and just about every respected economist has told us as much. I'm not saying it, they're saying it. Your 401k is saying it. if we end up in some open-ended recession ditch, it will be because our government chose it. Because it doesn't have to happen this way. It does not have to happen. We do not have to end up in a recession. They said only a 15 to 20% chance if we do not continue down this path. It won't necessarily happen on its own, but it will be a choice. So choose wisely. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
Opinion without the preach.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere.